Out of all the crazy characters introduced in the recent Dragon Ball films, as well as their Dragon Ball Super adaptations, the most interesting are Beerus and Whis. One is a destroyer god who rids the universe of life-threatening mortals, the other is his sassy angel attendant. It doesn't get much more interesting than that. The gods of Dragon Ball are always interesting, as Akira Toriyama has a particular talent for presenting deities that are unique to the usual depictions of gods, and Beerus and Whis are excellent examples of this. What is Whis' actual job? Do they have hobbies? What do their designs have in common? Find out here with 15 Dragon Ball Super, 15 strange facts about Beerus and Whis. 15. The joke in their names. There's a pretty interesting story behind the names of these two gods, and it starts with a misunderstanding. When Beerus was being written into Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, scriptwriter wanted to name the character Beerisu, a play on the word virus. However, when Akira Toriyama heard the name, he thought it meant beers, so he rolled with the alcohol theme and wanted to name his attendant accordingly. This is where Whis' name comes from, as it is a play on whiskey, a naming trend, theme that would continue to be used for the other gods of destruction and their angel attendants. For example, Beerus' brother is named Champa, a play on champagne, and Whis' sister is named Vados, after Calvados, a type of brandy. 14. Whis is stronger than Beerus. One might think that with a title like God of Destruction, Beerus would be the strongest being in his universe. However, this would be an incorrect assumption, as Whis is superior to Beerus in terms of power and knowledge. Whis' power is far greater than that of the God of Destruction, which is why Goku and Vegeta were so eager to learn from him. Whis is easily the strongest being in Universe 7. His fighting power outclasses all other warriors, and his magical powers give him a huge advantage over all that would challenge him. Whis also claims to be the fastest in the universe, which is true in both his reflexes and fighting speed as well as his travel speed. 13. Whis Jobs. What exactly is an angel's job? Well, it entails a lot of important duties in regards to the destroyer they are assigned to. As we just mentioned, Whis is much more powerful than Beerus. Part of the reason for this is because angels are assigned to destroyers to teach them how to harness and properly use their destruction power. This, however, is just one of Whis' jobs. The other main duty of an angel is to act as their destroyer's attendant. This might seem like a vague term, but it essentially means that Whis tends to all of Beerus' basic needs. Keeping his schedule, bringing him to meet with different planets, keeping him fed, etc. It might sound a bit boring, but they wouldn't put an all-powerful deity in charge of it if it wasn't an important job. 12. Cleaning up a destroyer's mess. What exactly is a destroyer's purpose? Well, as his title implies, Beerus' job as a god of destruction is to rid the universe of beings that are a threat to mortal life, meaning people like Frieza or other planet-conquering murders. Beerus isn't perfect, and he has destroyed a few planets because of his short temper or because of the destructive power of his sneezes. Because of this, Whis is equipped with a special power made specifically for cleaning up Beerus' messes whenever he accidentally destroys something he wasn't supposed to. This ability is known as a temporal do-over, and it allows Whis to turn back time 3 minutes. Just long enough to fix a mistake without damaging the flow of time. It says a lot about Whis' confidence in Beerus that he developed this power, doesn't it? 11. Throwing Beerus under the bus. Though he might not command him or control his actions directly, he outclasses him in terms of power and reports directly to Zeno about the destroyer's actions. In fact, Whis has no problem throwing Beerus under the bus when it comes to this, as seen in Dragon Ball Super. In Universe 6 Saga of Super, Zeno pops in for a surprise visit with the destroyers of Universe 6 and 7 after their tournament. While there, Zeno is informed by Whis that Beerus has not been taking his duties as a god of destruction seriously, stating that he is more concerned with napping and eating food than anything. Man, that's just cold Whis. 10. Whis bad singing. Beerus is known to sleep for quite a long time. This is thought to be due to his destroyer powers taking quite the toll on his body, meaning he has to rest for a long time to recover. Whatever the reason, Beerus has trouble waking up after these long sleeps, and Whis has just as much trouble getting him to wake up. Whis once tried to get Beerus up with his singing voice, and just the proposal alone was enough to wake Beerus up. Clearly, Beerus doesn't think too highly of Whis singing, and from the small sample we heard, we don't blame him. Whis might be a powerful deity with various magical powers and abilities, but he definitely can't carry a tune. 9. Food obsessions. When Whis told Zeno that Beerus spends more time eating than doing his godly duties, he failed to mention that he himself was guilty of the same thing. Both Whis and Beerus are obsessed with food, with the latter going so far as to destroy planets with bad food, and the former exhibiting very eccentric and ecstatic reactions to his favorite meals. Food is a big motivator for the two characters. Beerus decides whether or not a planet will be destroyed based on the quality of the food, as seen when he spared the Earth because of how good the cuisine was. Whis is very much the same, as Vegeta was able to receive training from him by bribing him with food he had never tasted before. 8. Whis steps out on Beerus. Speaking of Whis training Vegeta, the Saiyan Prince is able to convince Whis to teach him how to fight with the delicious power of instant ramen. This bribe occurred during one of Whis' many outings to Earth without Beerus. Whis loves Earth food so much that he often accepts any invitation of Bulma's to come to Earth and try a new restaurant or style of food. Beerus is almost always left out of these outings, which seems like a bit of a betrayal between two foodies. Regardless of how cold it is of Whis to try new food without Beerus, these lunch dates with Bulma serve to keep her and the Earth in the good graces of Whis and Beerus. Besides, Whis usually brings back some leftovers for Beerus to try. 7. Their strange fusion. Fusions were a big part of Dragon Ball lore in the Buu saga, but have since sort of faded into the background. Sure, Vegeta was used in the Goku Black saga, but otherwise, we don't see much of fusion, at least in the main canon of the franchise. In the world of Dragon Ball video games, however, fusion lives on, especially in the aptly titled Dragon Ball Fusions. In this game there is one fusions that stands amongst the rest as being easily one of the most powerful beings in all of Dragon Ball lore. We are, of course, talking about the fusion between Beerus and Whis, otherwise known as Whis. Whis has all the power of a destroyer god and an angel, which means he must be one of the most deadly fusions in all of existence. 6. Whis doesn't care about Beerus. Even when Beerus destroys a planet out of anger, Whis doesn't often use his temporal do-over to fix it. 5. Just an assignment. The reason that Whis doesn't seem to care all that much about Beerus' actions is because, at the end of the day, Beerus is just an assignment. Like the other angels, Whis was sent to a universe to tend to and teach his newest god of destruction how to handle Theory Destroyer power. Though their relationship isn't quite as stale as just caretaker and charge, Whis is still there by obligation, not because he wants to be. Knowing this, we are a bit curious as to what it is that Whis did before being assigned to Beerus. Was he working for another destroyer? Was he training with his sister, Vados? Or was he created purely for the purpose of tending to whatever destroyer god appeared next? 4. A very long job assignment. Universe 6 versus Universe 7. An exact time isn't ever stated. We just know that it has lasted eons. 3. A godly appearance. Pretend you don't know who these characters are and take a good look at them. Which would you assume is the one with the godly title? It's Whis, right? Seriously. Look at his angel garb. It practically screams deity, and though Beerus also looks like he could be the god of something, Whis' look appears a bit more divine in nature. This is exactly the mistake that both Goku and future Trunks made when they first met the pair. Goku thought that Whis was the god of destruction instead of Beerus. In both Battle of Gods and Dragon Ball Super, future Trunks made the same assumption based on their attire in the Goku Black saga of Super, both instances angering the true god of destruction. 2. Their fashion sense. Both Whis and Beerus have diamond shapes on their clothing. It's a trend that also occurs with other gods of destruction, seen in the circle patterns that both Champa and Vados both have on their clothing. This represents the relationship between a god of destruction and their assigned angel, though whether it is the destroyer wearing a pattern to represent their martial arts master or the angel representing their destroyer is unclear. 1. Intergalactic taxi. Whis is able to travel from Beerus' world to Earth in a matter of minutes, and he is easily able to bring any amount of passengers along with him.